Good morning, it's me, Kenny Polcari, and I am your host of the party, and this is today's Morning Market Commentary. It is Friday, August 27th, as we're nearing the end of August, and today's big Jackson Hole event. So what's happening after yesterday's decline in the market? So here's what you need to know. Jay Powell, Fed chair, is set to take the stage at 10 a.m. this morning, and guess what? Markets are now expecting no change in the narrative. U.S. futures turn higher after yesterday's weakness on the back of what they expect from Jay Powell. Oil is up, gold is flat, and the VIX is in retreat after yesterday's spike. So what are we having for dinner tonight? We're going to try the grilled pork chops with cherry tomatoes. So yesterday morning, I told you, get ready for the parade of, of Fed heads that are all going to be touring the media circuit, right? Listen to what they say, how they say it, what they mean. Read between the lines. Yesterday, we heard from Kansas City's Fed Esther George, Dallas's Bobby Kaplan, and none other than St. Louis' Jimmy Bullard. All three of them said the same thing in different styles, but the message is clear. The time has come, period, the end. Bobby Kaplan going so far as to say that he expects an announcement in September and a start to tapering in October. That the Delta virus that he was so concerned about 2 weeks ago is suddenly not much of a concern. Bullard reiterated his stance, and Esther, well, she waffled a little bit off of her prior commentary when she said it might be appropriate to wait until the end of the year to start. Then yesterday she said that the time is to get started now, even as the Delta variant poses a risk to U.S. economic outlook and to job growth. So she's done a complete reversal. Now, what's important to understand here is that not one of these Fed voices are on the FOMC committee board. They are all non-voting members. So while they offered up their opinion, it essentially means nothing in terms of the vote. Unless, of course, you think they're part of the plan, right? Which they could be. They're the ones, they float them out, they make the hawkish commentary to test the reaction. Because should there be this visceral reaction, Jay can always say, look, not my problem. These voices are not voting members, so you guys have to, you as investors have to make your own decision. It doesn't make them right or wrong, but understand what their role is. Another hawkish Fed president, Boston's Eric Rosengren, he's also not a voting member this year either. But he has no issue in expressing his own opinion, which we know is also fairly hawkish. Now, what is interesting, though, is that Rosengren, George, and Bullard will become voting members in January of 2022. Bobby Kaplan will become an alternate. So just in case they do nothing in 2021, you can expect that to change in 2022, capiche? And then we're going to get hit with news. Then we're going to hit with the news that changed the tone of the day completely. An attack at the Kabul airport happened in the late morning. In fact, it was 2 suicide bombers that killed 13 American Marines and 60 Afghans and injured many more. ISIS-K, another new splinter terrorist group, now taking responsibility, not the Taliban. You do with that what you want. The intelligence that has for days been telling us to expect an attack was not wrong. The intelligence that told Joey that the Taliban would take over the country in a matter of days was also not wrong. And the same intelligence is telling us to expect more in the days ahead. Now remember, in the long term, geopolitical events do not price stocks. But in the short term, they can and do cause volatility, confusion, and angst. Stocks which had been a bit weaker going into the early morning got weaker as the day wore on. And by 4 p.m., they all ended near or on their lows. The Dow losing 193 points, 0.5%, not a big deal. S&P's off 26, 0.6%. The NASDAQ and the Russell also ended lower, closer to the lows on the day. This morning, the tone has changed, though, right? The weakness yesterday replaced by strength. U.S. futures are higher. The Dow is up 100 points. The S&P is up 15 points. The NASDAQ's ahead by 54 points. And the Russell is up 8. The VIX, which surged by 12% yesterday, is showing some signs of calming down and is down about 5% in the early morning trading. 10-year treasuries yielding 1.34%, right where it closed out last night. The dollar index settled at 93.06. Gold remains hovering just around 1,800. And oil, which fell 0.4% yesterday as the market grew anxious, this morning is up 1% as the building storm in the Gulf of Mexico is raising concerns about supply disruptions as energy companies begin to shut down rigs in the region. There is a full calendar of economic data this morning, but the only ones that I think are really important would be retail inventories, expected to show a 0.2% increase. Personal income and personal spending, it's expected to show 0.3 and 0.4 of an increase, respectively. Okay, so back to the Fed. Understand this. The voting members of the FOMC committee are Powell, Clarida, Williams, Barkin, Bostic, Bowman, Brainerd, Daly, Evans, Quarles, and Waller. Yellen was the 12th member, but she resigned when she assumed her new role as Treasury Secretary. So, in fact, there is a vacancy on the committee until January. So it is what these members say that you should take as more important. In fact, though, Jay Powell is the chair. So in the end, it is his comments that reflect the policy, and that will, and he's going to take stage today at 10 a.m. So expect everybody's going to be listening to what he has to say. European markets are all trading around the flat line ahead of Jay Powell's presentation. The recent developments in Kabul are also going to remain on the radar screen as the tension builds after yesterday's events. The only data point is the French Consumer Confidence Index, and that slipped just a little bit, but that's not really being a directional driver for the markets at all. Bitcoin is trading at 47,000, and Ethereum is still trading at 3,100. Levels that they've been trading at the last couple of days, there's been no move in either direction of any significance since Wednesday. The S&P ended the day at 4470 after testing as low as 4468, so it closed almost right on its low. Joey took to the podium last evening at 5 p.m. after the market closed and assured Americans that he will hunt them down and make them pay for what they did yesterday. And that may be offering a bit of strength for investors this morning. The other event is obviously the Jay Powell event, and the message this morning, essentially, that the market expects that nothing is going to change. Jay will not announce any tapering that is different from what he's been saying all along, which means the assumption is for a November-December start, and that appears to be taking some of the angst and the nervousness out of yesterday's action, right? So it's taking it out of the equation this morning. We remain in the broader 4410, 4610 trading channel. Anything within that channel would be considered normal trading, so there's no reason to, get nervous or create confusion. Remember, you can always text the word invest to 21,000 on your cell phone. You get my digital business card. You can download it right to your phone. It's got my email, so feel free to email me, text me, give me a call. I'm always happy to talk about the markets. I'm talking about, happy to talk about a plan, happy to talk about concerns, anything you might have. You can also follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is just my name, at Kenny Polcari, and on Instagram at KennyP1961. Later on, once you get the link, I'm going to be posting the link that from yesterday. I interviewed Ron and Sana on behalf of Slate Stone Wealth, all about the Fed and all about policy and all that stuff. It was very interesting, so I'll put the link out on Twitter. You can see that. So what are we having for dinner? It's a simple dish, grilled pork chops with a cherry tomato sauce. Simple to make, but yet it's very good. For this, you're going to need 4 pork chops on the bone, 1.5 inches thick, right? Canned cherry tomatoes, sliced onion, sliced garlic cloves, fresh basil, chopped, and some red pepper flakes are always optional. You need salt and pepper, you need olive oil, right? So this should take you maybe 30 minutes max, right? Preheat your grill so you get it ready to go, and so that it's all nice and hot when you need it. With a meat mallet, pound the pork chop, and now rub it with a little bit of olive oil and then season it with salt and pepper and massage it in all around and then just set it aside. In a large saute pan, heat up some olive oil, go around 2 or 3 times, add the sliced garlic, make sure you don't burn it, add the onions, and saute for 8 or 10 minutes till the onions get nice and soft, right? Now you're going to add the can of cherry tomatoes. These are canned cherry tomatoes. Salt and pepper, red pepper flakes if you want. Mix it up, turn the heat down to medium-low, let it simmer for 10 minutes or so, but you want to keep stirring it just to make sure that it doesn't get, doesn't burn. If it starts to dry out, just add a little bit of water to it. Now go out and put the chops on the grill, cook them golden brown on each side, most likely 3 or 4 minutes max, depending on how thick they are, but you don't want them much more than that because then they're going to be well done throughout. When you're done, here's how you're going to do it. You can present it one of 2 ways. You can either take the cherry tomatoes and put them on the plate first and then put the pork chop on top of the cherry tomatoes. Or you can flip it around and put the pork chop on the plate first and then take the cherry tomato sauce on top of the pork chop. In any event, it doesn't really make a difference the way you do it. It's just the way it presents, right? So depending on what you want it to look like is how you should present it. I would serve this with an arugula salad. That's got all the bells and whistles, right? You want some tomatoes, some red onion in there. You want some cucumbers in there, and you want to dress it with fresh lemon juice and some olive oil. Toss it, salt and pepper, maybe a little fresh oregano. Just toss it, salt and pepper, and that's it. Now look, what's easy about this dish as well is that you can do this with pork chops. You can do it with a veal chop. Either way, it would be, if you're going to do it with veal chop, just replace the pork chop with the veal chop. Everything else stays the same. Either way, it's delicious, so you can switch it up. You can try it one night with pork, and then, next week try it with veal and see how you like it. It's a little bit of different taste because the meats taste different, but the recipe you can use is very versatile. You can use it either way. In any event, it is Friday morning. You can see the sun is just starting to come up. I got an early start today. So have a great day. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Take good care.